And with me today to discuss this further is Anthony Seaboyer, military and national security expert. Mr. Seaboyer, always good to have you here. Hamas saying ceasefire talks are back at square one. Your thoughts on this?
Well, we've seen a deal or agreement offer was on the table. Netanyahu did not accept this, saying that it was not a sincere offer. And we have to agree in the sense that the numbers were certainly more in favor of Hamas in terms of what the exchange would actually look like. But that said, this was the closest we ever were really to an agreement. And it's needed now more than ever. If we see the many human casualties, many civilian casualties we're seeing on the ground, it's really a tragedy that this agreement was not reached.
Reports of intense ground assaults are coming in from the north and south as Israel continues with its war on Hamas. What are you anticipating?
Well, it's clear, this is an incredibly densely populated area. There's 1.4 million people in an area that normally inhabited 150,000 people. Many of these people have moved 3-4 times already. They are very desperate for food, for protection. They don't have any means to move. They don't have necessarily cars or any other ways to leave the area. And in such a densely populated area, operating with tanks, operating with bombs is going to kill many, many civilians. And we even heard U.S. reports stating that more civilians were killed at this time than actual Hamas members. So this is a huge human tragedy, huge tragedy we're seeing unfolding.
Where are these people from Rafah expected to go with doors to Egypt closed and northern Gaza reduced to rubble?
Exactly. That's a big question. So there's a certain area that was designated by the IDF for people to go to. But the first question is how to get there. It's not you could take a bus or any ways that there is organized transportation. Many are taking private cars, but there's question of access to fuel. And those that don't have cars available are walking. But even if they reach that area, what is there to be expecting? There's not sufficient food, no electricity, running water. There's no ways for them to be housed there effectively. So again, it's just, from a humanitarian perspective, an absolute tragedy.
Now, U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says that, invading Rafah is not going to eliminate Hamas. So what do we know about this? Is that assertion correct that, this will not eliminate Hamas?
Absolutely. I fully agree with that analysis. I mean, first of all, terror organization, it's in the minds of people. You cannot bomb away in the end a terrorist organization. What you can take out is the heavy weaponry, their commando infrastructure, with their training grounds, maybe how they're funding, how they're recruiting. That can be effective, but you can't really eradicate to the last person a terrorist organization. Secondly, they can be in many different areas. They can be stationed in Iran. They can be in other neighboring countries. So it's not just that they are actually in Gaza Strip. So really going in there will have an effect for sure, but it won't eradicate Hamas for sure.
All right. Anthony Seaboyer, military and national security expert. Thank you, as always, for being here. We really appreciate you being here today.
Thanks for having me.